If you think this is just another normal weekend in the NLL, you are going to be pleasantly surprised. We have 8 games on this weekend, 5 on Friday night, 3 on Saturday, 2 games by Halifax, 2 games by Rochester. Absolutely bangers. Both those teams are one of the most electrifying teams in this league, and we get to see them play both twice this weekend. We are lucky. The standings are razor thin. This is a weekend where narratives flip and fraudsters are exposed. Welcome back. My name is Jake McDonald. I am Anything Lacrosse, and this is the game that never sits still. On today's episode, we are on episode 26. We are bringing guests back. We have Lax Tillymen, absolutely stud of a kid. Got to talk to him for quite a long time, and you guys are going to be right in for it in this one. There's a lot of great information in there. We also obviously are going to go over the league leaders and points, the standings, who's on top, who's on bottom. We'll talk about that. We also have big news coming off X, some more, a little bit of drama. We'll be going through an in-depth game-by-game breakdown on what I think is going to happen, and you'll get my predictions for the week, which I should do pretty good this weekend. I'm going with my gut. We're not making that mistake again. And obviously, this interview is going to be amazing. So let's get right into it. Lax Tillymen is coming up, and this is going to be an amazing episode. Let's get in here, get ready, take a seat, have a drink, and let's get talking. All right, so let's start right off with these standings to just get it going. So we've got Saskatchewan first, sitting at 4-1 loss. You got and you know they're 3-0 at home, 1-1 away. I said this. Saskatchewan's going to be next to impossible to beat at home this year. Buffalo Bandits at 3-1, so right there. Obviously, this isn't surprising. This is a repeat of last season, but it's still early. I think we're going to see some more teams creep up into that top level. You got Rochester at 2-1, having their first loss last week, kind of showing they are human. You got Vancouver Warriors at 2-1, off week again. They've had a couple buys already, so we're going to start to see them play a lot more. I would expect. Ottawa Black Bears at 3-2, Colorado Mammoth at 2-2, Las Vegas Desert Dogs at 2-2. Halifax Thunderbirds at 2-2, Georgia Swarm at 2-2, San Diego Seals at 1-2, same as Philadelphia Wings, Calgary Roughnecks are 1-3, and Oshawa Firewolves are 1-4, so they're looking pretty bleak already. I still think their offense, they finally found it, so I think we're gonna if they can mesh how they were playing defense the first couple weeks, and then how they've been playing offense the last couple weeks, I think they've got a team, and they just like to make everything dramatic. They did this last year. They didn't make the playoffs because of it. They got to get going if they want to try to make playoffs. I still have hope this team's going to make the playoffs. Maybe I'm naive, but I am a massive fan of Alex Simmons. And Dyson finally showed up. He finally played like like I know he can, and like so many other people know he can. And he's whatever he did last week, do it again. Go get another Hattie. I know he got 4, but go get another Hattie. Help this team get over his hump. And it's going to be one of those weeks that Oshawa is like craving for a win. Are they going to get one this week? We'll have to see. So this is a weekend, like I mentioned, that a win is very important and a loss is very important. It's gonna, one win, one loss can really move you up and down these standings. So, and just to run down the games this week real quick, I'll run through them really quick. We got Rochester versus Philly, Halifax versus Ottawa, Vancouver versus Calgary, Toronto versus San Diego, Saskatchewan versus Las Vegas, Buffalo Bandits versus Rochester, Halifax versus Oshawa, and then Colorado Mammoth versus Georgia. So this is going to be an interesting weekend, and we're going to see what happens here, boys. Back-to-back games are hard to play in this league. I know a lot of times it doesn't go so well. We'll see what happens, and it's going to be a fun weekend. We get to see a lot of top-tier teams play. To me, there's some definite bangers on here. I can definitely see a couple of things that are going to upset. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting weekend. I'll tell you that. Let's get right into it. So let's go right and look at the player stats here quickly, and we'll check out the goalie stats. We go through these every week. I like to do this before the week. I know you guys let me know if you want this in the other one, because it kind of does make sense for the other one. But I kind of like starting the episode out on this and kind of getting everything going. It gets us excited. So we got Jeff Teat at number 1, sitting at 40 points, 12 goals, 28 assists. That's massive, man. Like he's played 5 games twice. He's just absolutely killing it. Is he going to be the MVP? Because the second place guy is his teammate, his partner in crime, Robert Hellier, with 13 goals and 20 assists for 33 points. The next guy is Dane Smith. I mean, who the heck is that guy, right? Dane Smith has 12 goals, 20 assists for 32 points. He's only played 4 games, though, so fair enough to him. And he's probably going to get some points this weekend because they're playing twice. Him and Teat he'll have the same amount of, Ottawa still have one more game played. Mitch Jones is up there, too, for Las Vegas. 11 goals, 16 assists, 27 points in 4 games. That's 6.8 points per game. And Jeff Teat's at 8 points per game on average. Connor Fields, don't count this kid out yet. 3 games played, 11 goals, 14 assists, 25 points, which is 8.3 goals per game, which is the highest in the league right now. Connor Fields, the more I watch Rochester, the more I understand why everyone's so high on him or why he won the MVP last year. Now, again, I wasn't watching as many games as I am this year, right? So this year I watched every single game. Last year I definitely watched a lot, but I wasn't watching as hardcore as I was this year. I said this year I'm going to take it seriously. and I am. So I'm going to be, I watch every game. Connor Fields, every time I watch Rochester, I'm like, I understand why people like he's got to be up there for one of the best players in the league, right? So here we go. I know I'm like a Rochester hater, just kidding, obviously, but I think that they have quite a fucking fantastic team. Just to throw it out there, like if they can just get their back end like held up, they would be a top notch team. So we'll see what happens as playoffs go on here, or as we get closer to the playoffs. If they're going to, maybe you might see them add some pieces in here, because I can see Rochester swinging a little bit for the fences. They've got a team, man. They have the best offense in the league, in my opinion, just talking offense. Well, their bread and butter is getting out there and scoring early. So anyway, I'm getting off topic here a little bit, but Connor Fields, and you got Riley O'Connor, which I don't think most people were expecting, not me anyway. 5 goals, 16 assists for 25 points. Huge. 5 points a game is, there's nothing wrong with that. Tyler Pace having a big start, scoring big time goals, 7 goals, 18 assists for 25 points. Will Malcolm, who I think might honestly end up being the MVP if he continues this production. The kid is just amazing, and he's even stats: 12 goals, 12 assists for 24 points in 4 games, and he had a bad game. That's one bad game in there too. So it's crazy, like for his standard. Alex Simmons, same thing: 12 goals, 12 assists, 24 points. Again, in 5 games though, so still one more game than Will Malcolm, but still, that's good. I mean, he's still putting up almost 5 points a game. How much can you expect of your players? There's nothing wrong with that. And then Tanner Cook, 9 goals, 14 assists for 23 points. Brian Launchberry is having a big year too so far. 6 goals, 17 assists for 23 points. So we've got some big names, and it's so tight in this league right now. It's tight. There's a couple other guys with 20 plus points. There you have it. Leaders to start right now. Goalies. Brett Dobson has an 86 save percentage. That's insane. 4 goals, already 100, almost 200 shots on him. 96 shots on goal. Goal against is a 690. Holy fuck, boys. 690. He's under 7. So if I'm calling under 9 elite, what is he like, bro? Is he a Super Saiyan? Like, I don't. What's going on here, Brett Dobson? Just absolutely chip on his shoulder, going out there throwing down. And even the backup there, Shanahan has played pretty good. I mean, like, he's only got 5 minutes, but he's held it down for them when he needed to. Warren Hill, 85 save percentage, a little bit of a setback game last game, a little bit. Still played very well, in my opinion. It wasn't his fault that they lost by any means. But definitely, you can't expect him to have those crazy games we've seen right at the beginning of the season. So, you're going to see him settle in, but he's still performing absolutely, in my opinion, good enough to win for sure. Then you've got Christian Del Bianco, which is, 83.7 save percentage, but he's only played 3 games. Vancouver's going to be amazing, like really hard to beat with him in net like that. Frankie Sheliano, 81.6 save percentage, like huge. Dougie Jameson is still holding an 81 save percentage. Dylan Ward's at an 80. Ryan Hartley's still even at an 80, and he had, quote unquote, a bad game. Like, these goalies just this year, and even Nick DeMute, 78 save percentage. Nick Rose, 77.6. Usually that's decent. Not this year. You can tell it's a low save percentage. 7 save percentage. Matt Vince at a 77. Again, you don't really need him to be that guy at this point in his career. He just got a 77. That's a good enough for Buffalo to win. I'll tell you that right now. Matt Vince, Landon Kells is at a 76.8 save percentage. Had a bad game, had 2 good games, had another rough game. What Landon Kells are we going to get? They're bringing in Alex Kahn. They're bringing in Kahn to come in. Genghis Khan is as Jumbo likes to do it. So let's push that. Let's push that nickname for him. I know Jumbo is, and I like it when I heard that. And some younger guys might not know that because apparently Lucas didn't put Mr. Lucas Arger there. But I know who Genghis Khan is, obviously, and I think that's a sick name, and that's a pretty high praise if you don't know. So with that being said, Khan's going to be back up. Now, let's just stop. That leads us right into the news pretty much. It's on X. Alex Bouquet is being moved to the short-term team holdout situation, and apparently they're bringing Khan up. So that's interesting. Michael Carvelis just posted this actually, and he posted basically something along the lines of like, they're bringing him in and all that stuff. And how I took it was that, he's kind of nervous that they're going to rush his development. And I think the same thing, right? Like, I mean, all the power to him, but if you're looking at previous goalies Vegas has done this to, it hasn't worked out. So is Khan special? I've heard he's pretty good. Is he ready to take on a full-time position at 18 this year? I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I really don't know enough about him to make a good judgment. I know I've heard a lot about him. I've heard a lot of rumblings about him over the summer. I've heard in camp he impressed everybody. I think he's doing everything right. He's part of that goalie factory. Like, I mean, the kid's bred to be a goalie. Is he ready to take on that responsibility at 18? Goalie's a different position. Do you want to blow this kid's confidence? I personally think they should wait. Obviously, what the heck do I know, right? I'm just a fan. But if you're looking at history and stuff like that, it kind of makes sense to kind of hold off and make him wait. Again, just my kind of 2 cents on it. But that's kind of that's what I've seen anyway. So yeah, like realistically, can Khan be a starter for Vegas if Kells doesn't work out? That's kind of what it sounds like they're looking into. And that's rough, man. But They brought in a lot of talent. I would not count Vegas out. I've been saying this, and I like Kells. I think Kells is their guy. You have to run with him. You either go get a goalie or you run with him. You do not bring in. I don't think Con to bring him in is the right thing to do. I just don't think it is. It's not great for development. I don't think. Now again, I'm maybe out of my depth here, so just correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just my 2 cents on it. Now here we go again. So that's just kind of a big story going on. So I wanted to talk about it, some stuff I've seen just on pretty much X now. And Ryan Lee was also placed on IR on January 5th. Las Vegas put Alex Bouquet, short-term holdout. Again, I think you just run with these two goalies. I really do. And then San Diego moves Zach Deacon to an active roster. And then can Jack Hanna do it again, obviously, right? That's another big question that's going around. Like he obviously came into that offense. Is Andrew Q going to be back? That's another question mark. I've heard from some guys, yes. I've heard from other guys, no. I don't really know what the plan is with him. I'm hoping he comes back because I cannot wait to see Jack Hanna, Andrew Q, and Will Malcolm all out there together playing together. It's going to be scary good. In Colorado, man, like they are pulling me. Like I feel like they got me on my hook, and I'm just like getting pulled towards that fan base. Their arena's bumping from what I understand. Like that, no matter like after seeing the crowd last week, I want to go to a game for sure. That's like on the bucket list. Next year, I'm hoping I'm in the position where I can do like boots on the ground, one game in each arena throughout the season next season. That's what I would love to do. Obviously, you have to tee it up so you do the out west guys in a trip. You have to do like a couple different teams together. But I'm down for it, and I hope that I can make this happen. So I'm gonna get right into the Twitter stuff right here. No, stuff, right? So I wasn't gonna talk about this unless it was still out on X, and it is. I just want to check. So I'm gonna double check to make sure it's still there right now. But if it wasn't here, I wouldn't be talking about it because I know Jumbo doesn't like to really be in the smoke. And I'm like that too. I don't want the smoke, man. I don't want the smoke with nobody. I will report on it because it's part of lacrosse. I think it's interesting that you got guys going on after each other online, like a little bit bantering, like right, like going at each other. I think I understand why Michael Carvelis does this. And again, surprise, surprise, it is Michael Carvelis arguing with somebody else. He's always seems to be in this stuff. I don't really, it's kind of his thing. He just kind of, again, I always say this, he puts out a lot of content. When you put out a lot of content and you're just spewing stuff out all the time, you might say things that you don't mean or that you make it out of context or whatever. To me, in that situation, you address it and you move on. You either apologize, you say this is your stance, but you move on. The problem with, I think, Michael, I just was on with him on Friday. I've never had an issue with Michael. I really hope I don't ever have an issue with any of these guys. Right. So I'm not sitting here talking shit. I'm just going to give you my 2 cents on this. I think Michael goes and he doubles down on things a lot. So, like from what I've seen with the loose mesh stuff, now the Jumbo thing. Right. So I'm going to read you exactly what kind of went on here. Not really sure what started it exactly. When Jumbo says something, I listen personally. That's just me. I respect Jake Elliott a lot. And he was on my podcast, obviously. I like Michael too. It's just like loose mesh guys. I like all those guys. I like everybody. Okay, I'm not trying to get into fights out here, so I like everybody. But I have to mention this because this is still up on the old X. So, and I know Jumbo's probably going to talk about this. I would assume he would, or maybe, maybe not. Well, maybe. Anyway, because I know this is a thing. I was just listening to his podcast last week. I haven't got to listen to this new one this week, but I would listen to the podcast last week. I know he was just talking about how he's like, I'm going to stay out of that stuff. I'm going to just keep to my own lane. Now, obviously, when something's said that he disagrees with, he's going to say it. He's a personality. He's got a loud voice. He's got a big name. And he's got a big voice. And he's not going to not be heard. So this is his opinion. So let's just talk about it, okay? Something that Michael said. So this is how it started. Saying someone should lose their job over a mistake, typo, that was on screen for 2 seconds might be the stupidest thing you've ever said. And that's saying something. Get a grip, dude. That's someone's livelihood. And then like you're perfect with a question mark explanation. What a joke. That's strong words from Jake, to be honest with you. Like straight up. I've talked to Jake, really nice guy. Like I said, on my podcast, nothing but good things to say about this guy. But he's gonna tell you his opinion, man. So after that is when Michael responded with, "There are people in the media who know how to spell how this stuff works and think that the spelling of Diego is my issue. The 3 question marks afterwards mean the intern got smart and added them. That it was not a typo. It was sarcasm on a linear television, by the way." And then Michael puts, "I love pound for pound sports and all you do. Come on, man. Don't cape for people who would rather make jokes out of the spite." And then Jake Elliott put, "I work with the exact same people in Las Vegas, and I assure you it was a simple mistake that was fixed quickly, and the person who made it was embarrassed and apologetic. So you can cram that narrative. Next time you say something wrong, I'll make sure to lobby to have you canceled." And then Michael puts, "Fire whoever did this." This is my thing, okay? Reading that over, I'm going completely based off what I see on X. I don't know anything more about the situation. I haven't talked to either one of them, to be honest with you, about this. I'll touch base with it. I will touch base with this on Friday if I end up doing that stream with Michael Carvelis again. I had a great time doing that last week. The boys, Mr. Ella Captain was hilarious as well. Super guy. The other guy in there, super funny too. Everybody, it's a great community. I love this community. So that's why I think it's funny when people fight. And maybe I'm just, I don't know, maybe I'm just fucking, I would never fight with these guys. Maybe I'm just a lowly guy, man. I'm on the bottom of the totem pole here, okay? I'm not trying to start, and plus, I'm not trying to do that. That's not my stick. Like I said, I'm a personal brand. I'm Anything Lacrosse, all that stuff. I'm not trying to be a guy. I'm not trying to be, I put my own little, I love trolling. I love putting like little funny things out, but I do think that we've gotten to too much cancel culture. And I don't know. I think sometimes, again, I think Michael just doubles down personally. I just think once he says something, he just goes with it instead of just being like, okay, man, maybe I shouldn't have said that. So I don't think anybody should lose their job over a stupid little mistake like that. There's been definitely way worse stuff happen. This is somebody's livelihood. I completely understand. And the thing is, I think that Michael's forgetting, and sometimes this happens with a lot of sports media guys, including I'm probably bad for this myself, to be honest with you, right? So it's that all these people that have jobs are regular people, okay? Like they're just regular people. They have feelings. They go online. They read the criticism. I know how it is to get criticism, right? You like sometimes depends on who says it. You really take it to heart, and you just got to kind of roll with it. Whatever it is, what it is. But with that being said, somebody should not lose their job for this little thing. I'm sorry, there's not. Is somebody even if somebody was screwing around a little bit? I personally, from when I seen it, from what I seen of it, that's crazy to say to lose their job. Just my take on it. Maybe again, I don't know the whole situation. Who knows, right? But that's just kind of a little bit of ex fucking bullshit drama that's going on. I think it's funny myself, and again, I think is it good for the sport? You could argue yes, you could argue no. I don't know. Is it good for the community of creators? No, not really. But I mean, that's how it is, right? I don't know. I don't know. It's a different thing out here in the creator world in lacrosse, man. It's funny. It's a funny. It's so small and everyone's just so reachable. And it's not like you're getting like. And not, I'm only going to speak from what I think. I'm not talking about maybe like I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking way off base here. So yell at me in the comments if I am. But like you're not getting spammed with comments. Like if you're like let's say you're like Austin Matthews or like you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, so you're fucking spammed with comments. So if like somebody says something about them, rolls off the shoulder. With this, it's like if somebody says something about you in the lacrosse community, you are gonna address it. It's small. Everybody sees everything. Okay. So, like I said, I don't think this is great for the community. I don't think this is the right way to go about things. We don't want to be fighting with each other, right? Now, again, we'll see. I don't know. I'm just at the end of the day, if somebody said something about me, I would address it too. If somebody says something I disagree with, I try not to. I would never call somebody out, but I will give my opinion on it. And that's just my own take on things. And I don't think I'd ever call for anybody to be fired, so I don't think I really have to worry about that. Oh, just a little Twitter drama. Enough. That's 2 weeks in a row. I didn't think I was gonna get that 2 weeks in a row. That's a little bit much. So I'm not. Listen, guys, you'll never see me involved in this shit. I'll just apologize. It's just like I think that's what happens when I've been married for 10 years, coming up 10 years this year. Gonna be together with my wife for 15. You learn to just kind of apologize. That's just sometimes it's the best way to get yourself out of the situation. Anyway, no, I do mean it when I apologize, though, for real, especially in this situation. Anyway, I'm getting off track. So we have brought interviews back, which I'm so excited for because to be honest with you, and you guys let me know what you think. I think that I'm starting to get pretty decent at asking these questions. I always ask my guests how I did. Obviously, maybe they'll trash me behind my back or something, but no, for real. I feel like the conversations go pretty well. And today we have Derek Miller on. He's played junior B lacrosse. There's like 1, 2, and 3. He was kind of explaining everything to me. You're going to learn a lot in this interview with him. Like we touched on, his content, just how he got into lacrosse in the first place. Some advice for other younger players. Also, we get into like obviously the NLL relocation, all that stuff. Just stuff fans love talking about, and that's what this is, man. This is about fans. We love this. So I'll be doing more interviews. I got a bunch of guys lined up now. Everyone seems to be like kind of new year, back into it. Kind of everyone took a little bit of time off during Christmas break to recharge. So did I. I couldn't stop doing interviews, but I love the interview part of this thing. Now, the only issue I'm going to run into here is I think I'm going to start getting into where I'm going to be doing this stuff. It's going to take me forever to go through this stuff. That's the only thing. But I don't care. My podcasts are going to be long. I hope you guys enjoy it. Anyway, let's get right into the interview. Today on today's show, I want to welcome Derek Miller, aka Lax Tilly. I just seen he was close to the top of the leaderboard for Who You Got last week, and I looked. So it does a lot of a lot of different videos out here. So welcome to the show, Derek.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
So just give me a rundown of how you guys kind of got interested in lacrosse, where it all started, the journey for you.
Yeah, I wish I could come on here and say I had some big NLL or senior A career, but that's not the case with me. But no, I actually started playing lacrosse in junior, so that was pretty crazy. I started pretty late. But yeah, getting into lacrosse, I was living in Edmonton when the Rush were there, actually. So I was pretty young, but we had seasons tickets, so I kind of watched a bit of that. And then moved out to Vancouver with my family and then started watching again and then really got into it. So started playing when I was 17, which was pretty late for a lot of kids, but I just fell in love with it right away. Played with a great team, played Coquitlam, just kind of worked my way through the junior B ranks, and now I've been playing senior C. But yeah, that was kind of how I got into it, was the rush, and then just fell in love with it right away. I mean, you know how an amazing sport lacrosse is. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, I honestly just started watching during the All-Star break this year or this last year here, and I've fallen super in love with it too. So I completely get it. It hooks you hard. It hooks you hard when you
But yeah,
get in. So do you remember like the specific moment that really, grasped you into lacrosse? When it was it the first time you played? Was it the first time, you got a stick, something like that?
I think for me, like, it was kind of watching and like cliche with my account, but it's the physicality. Like, I just thought it was the coolest thing. Like, you got guys like you're allowed to cross check. You used to be able to slash off ball. Like, I just thought that was so cool and just, tough these guys were playing through that stuff. So was that. And then just watching like how good these guys are at hand eye coordination and all that. So then it becomes addicting. And then I want to keep practicing and getting better. So that was kind of what caught on to me, was watching it. But yeah.
Okay, cool, man. So, now I know you just mentioned that you're into like the rough stuff. Now, some people are really against fighting in lacrosse. I am all for it. Like coming in from as a player's point of view, how do the players feel about it? Like, are some players against it, or is it pretty unanimous that guys are for fighting?
I think it's pretty unanimous from the player's side. I mean, and it's also player's choice, right? Like a lot of people, obviously, I understand it's a touchy subject with CTE and stuff going on, but it's the player's choice if they want to fight, and all that. A lot of that information's out there now, so it's players choosing if they want to do it. And I feel like most guys love it. Like it's nice. Playing myself, like I only played junior B, but like when the guy on my team goes out and drops the mitts and gets in a fight, like your team's fired up. It can change momentum, can change anything. I think we saw it. It was the Calgary San Diego game this weekend when Gobrecht fought Anasio. Gobrecht got him pretty good, and then San Diego came right back in that game with momentum. Same as earlier in the year, there was one, so it just changed momentum. Yeah, I think it's great, and I think if you ask most players, they all love it, and it's their choice if they want to do it too. Yeah.
Well, what I love about fighting in hockey or lacrosse really is that I find that if without it, you get a lot more slashes and stuff. And then usually once there's a fight, it kind of ends that tension, and then everyone just kind of goes
Yeah.
back to playing. Do you find that as well as a player?
100%, yeah. If you didn't have fighting, like guys are gonna start cheap shotting guys, 'cause then they know there's gonna be no consequences. So yeah, and I even feel it like as a player too. I played with a couple tough guys. I played with a guy named Owen Barker a couple years ago. And even when you play with guys like that, you just play tougher. You feel like you can do more because there's a tough guy in your team that if something happens, he's gonna step in there. So yeah, and I fully agree with that.
So for training wise, like what is a training level? What's a training level expectation for a guy that's playing that junior B or even the senior men's C kind of deal?
Senior C, I wouldn't say too much, maybe just some beers and you're good to go. But no, yeah, like even junior B, you obviously got to be in shape, especially like once you get to like the B1 level on the mainland or Ontario. Like most of these guys playing B1 are going to be playing A the next year because usually you start B1 a couple years and then go on to A unless you're really good. So yeah, you got to be in shape. You're doing a couple practices a week. You're doing lots of dry line training, running, staying in shape. So yeah, there's a lot more than you'd think just for junior B.
And what's kind of a normal training schedule for junior? Like when you were playing junior B, how much were you on the, field or the at the arena?
Yeah, junior B, I want to say it was 2 practices a week, and then I played B tier 1 my last year, so I kinda went junior B3 used to be a thing, so we had junior B3, junior B2, so first year I started B3, then B2, then last year I was B1, and we had about 2 practices a week, I believe, and then usually you have a game on the weekend, sometimes a game during the week, and then in BC, you're traveling to the island too, so you'll have an island trip every now and then. So yeah, I'd say on average, it's maybe 3, 4 times a week, so it's still a good amount of time.
So how much are you guys, is film a big thing for you guys, or do you guys just show up and play the game?
Yeah, I think film's becoming more of a thing, like, as each day goes on, and it's huge. Like, junior A, you're having meetings every week watching film, obviously the NLL, same as that, and, like, when I was playing junior B3 and 2, you're not really getting into film, but, yeah, when you get into B1, you are watching a little bit of film, and it's, like, so helpful too, like, you hear the best players in the world talk about it, that's the biggest thing they go to is just watching film because you can watch D guys, and you just learn to know what they're gonna do every time and know how to burn them, so I think film is huge.
Yeah, I think that's a big aspect that people are starting to realize how much it actually does affect your game and how much it can help by just learning tendencies and
Totally.
stuff.
Also, I'll add this too, like, even me, like, I had never played lacrosse in my life, but I had watched so much of it, so my first game, like, I kinda knew what I was doing just from watching so much. You kinda, like, have a sense of what to do, and it's pretty similar to basketball too, in the sense of your defense, and then you got your picks and rolls.
So when you're now going from just being a fan to being like, kind of like a higher level player, do you find you watch the game differently? And if so, how?
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a higher level player, but but yeah, I think I do watch the game differently. The more you learn about the game, the more you notice little things, like just little things like the way guys are setting picks, different things guys are doing on defense. Like you see so many more little things. So yeah, I'd fully agree with that. And then especially me, I'm always looking for the physicality stuff. So I like seeing like the more you know, you see when guys are maybe chopping on guys' wrists that the average person wouldn't see because you have no padding on the wrist. So you'll see D guys chopping guys' wrists or chopping guys where you know it hurts where the average fan wouldn't maybe notice. So I see a lot of that too, and I find that stuff quite funny.
So throughout your career, have you seen a lot of guys like is when a fight is going to happen? Do you find that it's more the players that take the initiative, or is it more of like a coach kind of tapping a guy on the shoulder and saying, "All right, we got to get this under control. Like,
Yeah.
go get this under control."
I'd say this day and age more the players. It used to be a lot of coaches, but coaches kind of have to be careful these days what they do. But yeah, it still happens all the time. Coaches will give a player a tap, and that doesn't really get out there. But yeah, and then players kind of know too, though. Like like say a guy gets cheap shot or you're losing. Like a lot of players kind of know when it's time to maybe step up and do something. So I'd say more on the players now, but maybe back in the day it was a lot of coaching too.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that. It's you don't want to get mixed up with that, but I can. It is a part of the game, and I think the other thing I was talking about with somebody else about this is a lot of people that are against fighting they don't realize that I think a lot of guys it gives them that edge and maybe pushes them over the edge over a player that would doesn't have that aspect to him the physical the grittiness and he can get a position on the team rather than maybe not being able to play.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. And yeah, like once again, that was the same thing. Like back in the day, that used to be huge. Like every team had a guy who was just there to fight. Like a guy like Daniel Amsbury, he started playing lacrosse when he was, I think, 20 or 21, and he was playing junior A his first year because he was just there to fight. Same thing, obviously, in Halifax. He hasn't played in a few years, but he's there because that's his job. So there is still guys like that. You see it still, but it's gone away. Like now, guys kind of have to know how to play the game a little bit too because it is so fast, and it just sucks losing a roster spot too. Like I love Amsbury, and I'm pumped he's in there for Halifax, but it's tough when you're pretty much playing a man down if you have a guy that's just there to fight. So you pretty much have to learn to play the game too, which is why it's nice. There's guys in the league now. You got guys like Dawson Theed and Jackson Subak who are very good lacrosse players too, but also if something needs to happen, they're totally willing to go.
Yeah, Dawson Theeds, man, he's a pretty freak of nature. Like he's a big boy. I wouldn't want
Oh
to get
yeah,
in it.
he
I
is.
wouldn't want to get in his way. I'll tell you that.
No, absolutely
Holy
not.
cow.
So, yeah, watched quite a few of those Man Cup games this year in person, and man, that guy's a monster. And he's so good too, like with his stick, everything, like unreal lacrosse player.
Yeah, when I actually went to the game for the first time this year, home opener for Halifax, he was the guy that kind of stood out the most on offense to me that game. He was just so, he was just everywhere and his shot power and everything.
Yeah, and he knows how to use his size, get to the middle, and yeah,
hmm
his stick, like everything, just a heck of a player.
So now for kids trying to get to play at this, like a little bit of a higher level, what would you recommend they be doing on, a daily basis or a couple times a week or whatever? What kind of skills should they be focused on mainly?
For sure, just be addicted to your stick. Like have your stick in your hand every day, wall ball every day. That's a big one. Just hit the wall literally every day. I know it's cliche and it's what everyone says, but just hitting the wall every day with your stick. And then as you get older, like watching film is huge. Just watch lots of lacrosse. I noticed a lot of younger guys coming up. The better ones watch a lot of lacrosse. They're into NLL. They like watching the junior A. So I think watching a lot, but keeping your stick in your hand is the biggest thing to me. Like every day you should be hitting the wall or just throwing it around whenever you can. A lot of the better players, you hear them say, like guys like Lyle Thompson, they had their stick in their hand every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you have to, especially if you want to get to that level for sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your social media for a minute. So, like, I noticed you have around 15,000 on Instagram. Like, kind of give me your journey on that. What made you want to start doing content and kind of how'd you go about it?
Yeah. So it was funny. This was like probably 4 or 5 years ago. Just kind of started posting some of my friends' lacrosse fights for fun. I just thought it was funny and I didn't really think anything of it. So I did that for maybe one summer, 6 months, and then stopped. And then a few years ago, I just saw there was no one posting any fights or any of the rough stuff really. There was Battleborn and Lax post stuff, but I'm like, I should just start posting the stuff and see what happens. So yeah, I just started posting lacrosse fights, and then it just took off like 2, 3 years ago. It got to the point where any game there's a fight, like I'm getting like multiple people in the arena, even like sending it to me right away to post, and then it just kind of blew up from there. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, now it's at the point where pretty much everyone in lacrosse follows in. If there's a fight, you know where it'll be right away.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, everybody loves a good fight. You seen that goalie fight the other week go
Oh yeah,
viral, all over everybody, major ESPN, everything. And,
totally good for
again,
the game.
and that's the thing. Most people don't even know box exists, and that's what I'm trying to do, right? So, okay. So, is there like how much content do you post a week roughly? Like, is it just kind of sporadic? Is it more obviously it's probably more during the season than after the season and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's actually surprisingly, I keep it pretty balanced even when the season's off. So I pretty much post something every day. I'll post like a funny stat or something every now and then, but it's pretty much a fight each day. And with all the leagues going on, especially in summer now, like there's quite a lot of leagues. There's usually at least a fight every few days. So I'm throwing that up and then funny stats up. And then I'll throw a lot of past fights up too. There's a lot of good ones that you can find. It's pretty cool. I'll get a lot of people like send me in videos that like no one's ever seen before from like older fights. So then I'll throw those up. So yeah, pretty much I have something to post every day, which is pretty cool about it.
Are you just on Instagram, or do you branch out as well?
Just I do have YouTube. I'm starting to get that going a little bit, but right now it's pretty much just Instagram. That's where I post everything. That's where it is right after it happens. But yeah, I am slowly trying to branch out. I've got a couple of YouTube videos up now, and I want to branch out to more of that. So
Okay, awesome, man. So, okay, so is this something you're looking to get into, kind of like, as is this something you do as a hobby, or is this something that you want to do, kind of, move to professionally?
it's a hobby. I would love to do this full time. That would be awesome. So I am kind of starting to find ways to make money doing it, which is pretty cool. And that would be a dream, get to do this full time. So hopefully that'll happen. But yeah, for now it's just a hobby. I mean, I just love lacrosse and love the rough stuff of it. So it's cool getting to post about that. And I think it's, as we were just mentioning, I think it's really good for the game too. Like I get with the CTE and there's stuff about it that's touchy subjects, but when you see like these fight videos, like that goalie fight, it went viral everywhere. And whenever there seems to be a good lacrosse fight, like it blows up everywhere. And there's people seeing this stuff that have never seen lacrosse before, and they're like, "What is this?" And then they click on it and then want to watch it. So I think it gets quite a lot of fans. And I've brought like friends to a lot of lacrosse games too for the first ever time, and they'll watch a game and then be like, "Holy crap, what is this?" And then they're hooked too. So I think it's a cool part of it, getting to share that part of it as well, and people see it because a lot of people that like, there's a lot of people that see my account that don't know what lacrosse is. They just like see these fights come up or someone sends it to them and they're like, "What is this?" And then they follow it because they want to see more of it. And then they get into lacrosse from that. So I think that's the coolest part about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, the more exposure that we can get to lacrosse, and like anybody that hasn't seen it, that's even when people that aren't into lacrosse see lacrosse, that's the best guys to get, because usually they get hooked, because every hockey fan I've brought into a game has gotten hooked on the sport. So,
And yeah, it is. It's a lot of hockey people too that maybe don't know what lacrosse is or haven't watched it much. Then they see it and they see it similar to hockey with the plays and the hitting, but then just the physicality and then it's just different. It's like a cooler version of hockey and basketball, in my opinion.
yeah, it's almost like I find if they had like a baby, and there's it's kind of very similar. There's similarities in both. I personally think it's
Yep.
like box is more like hockey. I've heard
Yep.
a lot of people say it's more like basketball, and I can understand that. And to me, it's like after somebody said that, it's kind of like they honestly had a baby a little bit. So,
Exactly. Yeah, I think the basketball wise, it's like how you run your offense, and it's like the 5-on-5, and you're pretty much trying to get to the net. It's so similar to trying to get to the basket because you've just got guys around the outer circle. You're setting picks, trying to get to the middle. Pretty similar to how basketball is. So, and then it's the physicality of hockey and some of the plays. So, yeah, it's just awesome. I could talk about how awesome it is for hours.
So now, what about like shooting wise? I know, obviously when you're starting out, it's all overhand shots and stuff, but you see as the pros go on, it's more like underhand, sidearm shots. Obviously, the classic shot as well. Even the one I seen, I can't remember who scored it. I think it was in the Buffalo game, behind the back, no look, bouncing. Like, these guys are
Yeah.
super creative now. What's your opinion on the like sidearm shots, underhand shots? Like, obviously for the pros, it's different. Those guys are in a whole league of their own. But is that something that most players should avoid doing, or is that something that just takes practice to get down?
No, I think it takes practice, and I think you should be practicing, it, especially sidearm shots. Like learning to shoot around defenders is a big thing, especially like guys are getting so much better this day and age, and it's hard to like find gaps are so tight. So learning how to shoot around defenders, sidearm, and doing stuff like that, I think is great, and kids need to learn. And then same like the backhand stuff, like I think that stuff's fun. Like when you're going to the wall, like throw backhands, throw weird passes, just do whatever you can. And that's a lot of these guys throwing that stuff in games, like guys like Chase Fraser and all that when they're going to the wall, they're doing all this. They're just throwing weird passes off the wall and just between the legs doing all this stuff. And then you get in a game and maybe you're in a situation where you're tied up and your only option is just throw a weird backhand or something and you do it. So that's all from just practicing it. Yeah.
But yeah, these guys have such control. Like when I see the stuff they perform, it's unbelievable, honestly.
It's
So
it's incredible.
So has there ever been like a piece of content that you maybe regretted posting or that you had to take down because it was just too rough? Or do you get a lot of violations from Instagram for, violence and stuff like that?
Funny enough, I haven't.
Okay.
TikTok, I tried getting on the TikTok and they would take all the posts down right away, so that was kind of a no-go. But yeah, there's been quite a few interesting situations. I haven't got much taken down, but there's been a few things of like there's been like massive brawls and like parents involved, like all the fans fighting and some of these like junior B, junior C games in Ontario. And I'll still post them. And yeah, there's been some people aren't happy with it, and I get quite a few messages and I'm pretty good to people, and if, like, something's really extreme, I won't post it, but so, yeah, there's been a few issues with stuff I post, but for the most part, it's been fine, but, yeah, some of the videos I get, you wouldn't like, it's stuff you wouldn't even believe is around there. Like the Man Cup, for example, I don't know if you saw any of that
Yeah, I
stuff,
did see
but
that. Yeah.
and that was funny too, like, that's going on, and, like, I'm getting videos from, like, people, like, beside the guys fighting in the stands, like, sending this stuff to me. It was just crazy. The news was asking me for videos and
Oh
stuff.
my
It was
God.
pretty nuts.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was quite the maybe that's not what the best thing you want in lacrosse, but
Yeah.
to be honest with you, I know that people this is where I'm a little bit different than most people. I love that stuff because it gets exposure to the sport. And if you go look at like a soccer team that's diehard fans, that's how it
Yeah,
is, bro. It's like you gotta,
exactly. Yeah,
like,
like,
and
I
that's
remember
kind
when
of
that
how it is between those two.
exactly. Like when that Man Cup stuff happened, I remember people were freaking out saying, "What is this? This can't happen." But you look at those European soccer games, even NFL games, like there is fights in the stands all the time with fans and parents and whatnot. I'm not saying that's okay. I don't think that's great for the game, but that stuff happens. Some people are saying that's just a lacrosse thing. Like, no, that happens in every sport.
Yeah, like I always say, like, as talk as like I'm a Leaf fan, obviously, right? But as toxic as this is, I love to see like burning jerseys and TVs getting
Yeah,
smashed because it shows the passion out of it, and we're not there yet
totally.
in lacrosse, and I want to see it. So you might see a video come out of me doing
Yeah.
that, just as like a little
I'd
bit
love
on there.
that. But yeah, I agree. It
So
shows you're getting more fans into the game and they're passionate about it. So that's what we need.
that's right, man. So, okay. So, where do you think this game's going, like growth wise? Like, obviously, you've seen this game grow and have its ups and downs, being, watching it since you were young. Do you see the projection going up? Do you see just give me just a rundown of what you've seen over time.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's growing immensely. It is weird, like I wasn't alive, or maybe I was really young, but it seemed like back in the day when I was little, like lacrosse, it was huge. Like you had teams like the Philadelphia Wings, like just selling out Toronto. Like these teams would sell out every game. Like it was just crazy. And then it kind of dropped off a little bit, but it does seem like it's growing every year. Since I got into it, like it's just more and more people are getting into it. And I think the NLL has done a good job. The new commissioner is amazing. I think he's done a good job. And I think they're going down the right path. It's helped with like TV deals and they're getting more exposure, which is nice. So I think they're going down a good path. I think eventually the NLL, I don't know your thoughts on this, if the rumblings of them switching to a summer season. I am kind of on board with that. I think that'll get more people into it too when you don't have hockey and basketball to compete with and it's just lacrosse on. But there's a lot of stuff that would go into that if that were to happen. But I think that would help it a lot more too. But yeah, I think lacrosse is on a good path right now, especially with the Olympics too. Like I know that's just lacrosse in general, the sixes, but I think that's going to help immensely too. The amount of people that'll see that on TV will love it.
So you kind of took my next question right out of my mouth because I was going to ask you, what do you think like about flipping the season? Because I'm for it, and I find we've been doing this for 40 years. I do think the growth is coming, but I feel like if we flip the season and I know this is a very unpopular opinion. I might be one of the only guys that thinks this, but I think that we need to change the WLA and the MSL into a feeder league, have more, quote unquote, actual amateur guys in there, and then have the NLL play over the summer. And though that's the cream of the crop to me, that's what it should be.
I fully agree. And like it sucks. Like I'm a summer ball guy. I love like the Man Cup and stuff like that. But I fully agree. I think it has to get to a point where you just have like the one professional league and then those leagues turn into feeder leagues. And I believe it was Teddy Jenner, Pat Gregoire said this, which I really liked. They said, "What if you take the Man Cup trophy and make that like the NLL?" And I think that would be amazing because kids in Canada, when you grow up playing lacrosse, you want to win a Man Cup. You don't really think of the NLL Cup. So I think if they somehow found a way to turn that into the NLL trophy, I think that would be unreal. But yeah, I fully agree. As much as I love the WLA and all that, I think it needs to turn into a feeder league. And then you can extend the NLL season two, have it to like 30, 40 games, what you want to have it at, and just have feeder leagues going into it. And I think that would be amazing. great for the game.
Yeah, I agree, and I know there's a lot of pushback from especially like Chiefs and Chiefs fans, and then also like what New West guys. Like I've talked to a lot of those guys, and those are two areas that they're super against it. I do understand it, but I do like
Totally.
that idea about bringing the Man Cup over to the NLL and making that like kind of the championship. I don't know how that's going to go down historically wise,
Exactly.
but it's
But one
something.
thing I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if it was the Stanley Cup started off similar to that too, and then they brought the Stanley Cup to the NHL. I could
I
be
I
wrong
th
on that, so it could be
I think well, it's the NHL's had a little bit of a, there's a huge history there too.
yeah.
Two different leagues kind of coming together and stuff. So yeah, that definitely could be accurate for sure. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm curious.
so how do you think if if you got put in the hot seat or if you got asked, how would you, help this league? What would be kind of some suggestions you would make to it?
Keep fighting in the game.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But I think, not to sidetrack, but the NLL's done a good job with that. A few years ago, they kind of stopped hosting fighting and they wouldn't want anything to do with it. And then I think they've seen how much it helped like grow the game and got people into it. So you've noticed over the last couple of years, they've started showing that again and putting it out there because it gets people into it. But yeah, I think switching the season around would help a lot. I think we're on a good path with that. I'm big on getting more teams in there, but I also think you gotta figure out the teams that are struggling and get those in good markets, but I know this stuff takes time and it's hard to figure out. But it just sucks when you like this is not a dig at any of these teams, but when you throw on maybe a game and you see no one in the stands, it doesn't make it that exciting. Whereas then you watch a game on TV, like, I don't know if you watched that Colorado game on the weekend with all the people in there, like you're into the game just watching it. You feel the intensity. All the games in Buffalo, they just feel so much more intense compared to watching these teams where maybe the arena's half empty. So I think just that would be a huge thing is focusing on getting teams in arenas where the arena's going to be full and you're going to have fans in there, and it just makes it so much more of a better atmosphere.
Absolutely, man. And I think that the pattern I'm starting to notice, honestly, is the teams that are having the issues don't play in the downtown cores. So like Colorado,
Totally.
they play in Colorado.
Yep.
Halifax is in the downtown core. Like Toronto and Hamilton, they're downtown. Oshawa's having a
Vancouver.
pretty good turnout. Vancouver, and even when Vancouver had a team before, they still had the same issue and they were having attendance numbers. So you see like
Exactly.
the teams with the low attendance, like Vegas, Georgia, even Ottawa, they all have those arenas that aren't in the downtown core. So like we're kind of overthinking this. You have to get them in the downtown core in order to have the success. And I want to see 10,000 fans in each arena. That's kind of
Totally.
where we need to, start to aim at, right?
Yeah, I fully
Uh,
agree. Like, it blew my mind. I didn't even know this, that Ottawa apparently plays like 45 minutes from like downtown. Like, that was just crazy to me. Like, I fully agree. I saw it with Vancouver living out here. Like, they had the team in Langley, and there was no sky train to get to the games, and it wasn't doing as well. And then they bring it downtown. You have the Canucks advertising it, and then you have sky trains and more people down there, and it just fills the arena out. So I fully agree with that. I think these teams need to be in cities, and I like the idea of these NHL teams owning teams as well because I think they get good advertising from it and just way better benefits too.
at least some sort of partnership with them, because like exactly when they have that juggernaut on helping them, it's a huge benefit to them, right? So
Yeah, that's why I think Edmonton, that'll be another thing to add to that list of why they do well is having the Oilers ownership with them there. I think that would be great if they get a team back.
yeah, I would love to see expansion, but I do think we need to make sure these teams that are already in the league are ready to go. But they're kind
Totally.
of But I would like to see some more exposure into the states as well for box in the right areas and try to get that game growing as well down
I
there.
fully agree. And you're seeing a lot of American players when they get into box, they love it. And they're like, but I think we need to grow the game a lot more in the States and get box across out there. And I know they're kind of doing that with is it the NLL Unboxed or I forget what
Yes.
they're,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I think they're doing a good job with that. But yeah, keep getting the sticks down there because a lot of Canadians, like that's all we know. Lacrosse is box lacrosse up here. Field's not big. So I think we need to grow it more down there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like, do you find do you find that if there's a market that you could choose that the NLL would relocate to, where would it be, or relocate or expand? I guess.
Edmonton's obviously up there. That's a pretty common choice though. Trying to think. Yeah, Edmonton. I liked Minnesota. Like I felt they did well when they used to have a team, and I think that would be a good market. But yeah, I'd say Edmonton and Minnesota are my top two on that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely, I'm on board for that. I would also like to see somewhere around Georgia, just because to give them an
Yep.
actual rival. I think that's a thing.
Yep.
We got to try to sell these rivalries in the
Totally.
game. Like you see Saskatchewan and Halifax now really going back and
Oh
like at
yeah.
each other, and I love that kind of stuff. I think that's awesome when teams do that.
Exactly. And yeah, and then you have Vancouver there with Calgary and Saskatchewan, so they have a rivalry going. You have the Canadian teams and then all the Ontario teams. So I agree. It would be nice if you get more teams down in the States kind of competing against each other as well.
So I know you mentioned like you've had, news channels kind of reach out to you for
Yep.
videos, which is, pretty cool in itself. But have any brands reached out to you? Like, have you done any brand deals or anything like that?
No, no brand deals. I've had a couple messages about sponsors and people wanting to do stuff, but it just wasn't really reasonable to take. I'd kind of more wait for the right offer to get. But yeah, and then I'm just trying to do other stuff like get hats going and try and do more stuff like that. But yeah, no brand deals or anything. And then all that news stuff is more I'm not really making money off that. I gladly send them videos and then they post it out there too and more people see lacrosse.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it, man. I love it. You're just doing it for the love of the game, and that's the same thing, right?
Exactly.
For me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, do you see your niche kind of changing or evolving, or are you going to kind of just stay doing the same stuff, like just posting the fights?
Definitely evolving. As times went on, I'd try and post more different stuff like stats and more scoring things. But yeah, I think it'll all be based around fighting. I mean, that's why a lot of people follow my account. There's other accounts where they can go to see goals and other stats, but people who want to see fights will open up my account. So it'll definitely be based around that. But yeah, I'm trying to open it up more to other stuff and posting cool things.
Awesome, man. No, that's great. So, okay, so let's talk some NLL stuff real quick. So, like, who do you like this season? Like right away, who do you think's going to win the championship? If you have to call somebody out right now, and just other teams that you think are pretty solid teams.
I was gonna say Rochester, but I saw your post on them, I think today, so maybe
It's
a touchy
okay. That's
subject.
okay. No, 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 no. It's all good, man. I love it. I love it.
No, I still it's just that offense in Rochester I think
Yeah,
is gonna be
yeah.
deadly, but I agree, it's gonna depend on how the goaltending does main thing, and Hartley does look good so far. But Rochester's up there for me. I think Vancouver, I know they struggled that first game against Colorado, but they're just so deep. Offense, defense, like best goalie in the league in my opinion. So I think Vancouver's still got to be the favorite, but I'd throw Rochester and I mean there's so many teams, right? Like you could say Saskatchewan too, Halifax even. I know they've lost two in a row, but then they beat Buffalo, so they're gonna be right in there. But yeah, I'd say Vancouver's probably my top one.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver's a pretty safe choice. And Rochester, to me, I always said they were a dark horse coming into this season. I actually like them coming out the week one. Like, I was really impressed with their goaltending. I think it was kind of a little bit of a facade, a little bit. And to be honest, it's funny. Like, Lyle Thompson liked one of my TikToks today. And I hope it gets back to them and fires them up because I
Yeah,
love it. I love being proven wrong, man. If they can prove
totally.
me wrong and chirp me, send me a message, shout me out or whatever, I don't care. I love
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
If that helps them, so is there any players that you specifically like watching? Like I find as I get older, I prefer to watch players over teams. But do you feel the same way? Or are you pretty locked in, or do you have an NLL team that you like to follow?
No, I fully agree with you on that. I honestly don't really have a team. I enjoy watching, and there's certain players I enjoy watching more. Like we were talking about Dawson Feed, Jackson Subak. I like watching the guys who kind of are into the rough stuff, like Tyler Biles, another guy. Mitch Jones is a guy I love watching, and he was probably my favorite player growing up, especially going to Salmon Valley's games when I was younger. He's just a guy, he scores, he's not afraid to fight, kind of does it all. So I love watching a guy like him. But yeah, a lot of the rougher, gritty D guys too, I like.
Now, I mean, you're playing senior C and stuff still, but do you kind of try to watch players individually and try to kind of pick up what they're doing and try to emulate that?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, yeah, the more I watch games now, there's certain players I like watching. Like Tyson Bell is a guy I love watching too. He kind of plays gritty, but he's just so good at lacrosse and does a lot of little things right. So yeah, when I'm watching a game, I'll notice myself doing it too. There'll be a few certain players, and every shift, my eyes are just kind of glued on them, even if they don't have the ball or then they're not involved in the play. I just like seeing the little things they do.
Well, when I went to the opener in Halifax, I actually got to see Tyson Bell play, and like obviously on TV you get to follow the ball, but for him, I was watching him on just a couple plays, and the way he's almost like a defensive coordinator out there while he's out on the he
Totally.
must be the defensive captain. Like he's really telling people where to go, getting everybody set up, and they played lights out for the first couple games.
Oh yeah, no, I fully agree. Yeah, I think he's a monster, and then he's athletic. He can push the ball in transition, kind of does everything. So it's a really good guy to watch.
So now scoring's been down up till probably like last week, I want to say, or something. Do you think it's just been offense is just kind of starting to get going, or do you think it's more goalies are getting better, defenses are getting better, players are just getting better?
I think it's players getting better. Like the goaltending this year has been outstanding. Like if you look at it too, I mean, the league's tried doing what they can to get more goals. They've made the nets bigger. Goalie gear's gotten smaller. Now goalies are just standing on their head this year. So I think it's been the goalies for the most part. But I do think too, like defensively, like guys are just getting so much better. You watch film, you learn how to close gaps and get in shot lanes and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's everything a little bit, but I'd say mainly goaltending's just been outstanding this year.
So who do you think is right now, if you had to pick one, who do you think's the best goalie in the league currently?
I'd say Del Bianco, but I mean, to the start of this year, if we're going off this year, there's a few guys you could say. I mean, you could look at Skigliano, Warren Hill, Delbs. I know I'm missing someone, but yeah, all in all, I'd say Del Bianco.
Yeah, I mean Delbs. I mean, it's such a small sample size for them. I think they've only played 3 games, and the first game wasn't his greatest, but I think he's still a top tier, defense and goaltender. I think he's probably quote unquote the best. Brett Dobson's really given him a run for his
Yeah,
money this year, though. I'll say that
agreed.
though. Brett Dobson is on a whole nother level this year, man.
Totally agree. Yeah, Dobson's been unreal. And then just back to the Delbs thing too. It's what he does with the ball too. Like him pushing the ball in transition and like some of the passes he throws are just ridiculous. Like passes I would never dream of making in my life. And this guy's ripping the ball down the floor with a goalie stick. Like it's just insane what he's doing.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought Colorado actually did a really good job in the first game defending it. It was almost like
Yep.
they had that one go-to play that they just shut down, and Colorado was so good at it, and it kind of just I think it threw Vancouver off there.
Totally.
They thought, I think they just thought they were going to walk in and kind of do that all night, and it's just like, nope, that's not going to happen. So
Exactly. Especially too, they added guy like Shane Simpson, who's just so fast. And I think, yeah, Vancouver thought they'd light him up in transition. But Andrew McBride too, they got him back in Colorado, defensive coordinator, and he is just unreal. And I believe he was with them when they won, and then he's been gone the past couple of years. So you're already gonna, I think we'll see them have a good year. I know they struggled for a couple games there, but now they have Hannah back in the mix, and I think they're still gonna be a really good team this year. And it helps too, like the hometown advantage they have with that crowd there, and like I've talked to guys who play in Colorado or played as an away team in Colorado, and like you can't hear a thing on defense in there sometimes, so it's a tough place to play. Which gives them a good advantage.
I have a follower, and he's been to 12 out of 14 arenas, and I said, what was your favorite arena? He said Colorado, because he's just like the atmosphere is just insane there, and I was shocked by that. I would have figured he
Yeah,
said Buffalo or maybe Hamilton, but
exactly.
like he said like Colorado, I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to get out there for a game
Yeah, yeah,
for
it gets
sure.
loud too. I don't know if that turned into a thing where they got in trouble, but I know they would pump music out of the speakers too. Away teams on defense, like you can't hear a thing, which
Yeah.
is tough because then you're going off instinct because you can't really call out your picks or anything. So you're just kind of going all off natural instinct when you play, which is tough to do.
Now, who do you think is going to be the MVP this year if you had to pick somebody out?
Another cliche answer, but I'm going to say Jeff Teat.
Yeah.
I think if Ottawa gets in the playoffs and has a decent year, like you got to go Teat. That's what he does. And like, I'm not saying that they don't have any other superstars. I mean, Hellier's unreal, but you see a lot of these other teams, like they have a couple guys, like Rochester, you could name like 3 or 4 superstars in their offense. Vancouver, Buffalo, you got Smith, Byrne, McKay. Whereas Ottawa, it's kind of Teat and then maybe Hellier, and then I feel like it drops off a little bit. No disrespect to any of those other guys. So it's just Teat, the way he carries that offense, and he is just so good. So I'm gonna go Teat there. Well, who would you
I mean,
take?
I think like Teet's kind of the easy answer because I think
Yeah,
that he doesn't have one yet, and I think that it's kind of for the league, and they're kind of trying to push the face of the league on him. So I feel like for those reasons, I think he's going to be. Don't get me wrong, the caliber of players there, but when you have Connor Fields, when I watch him, or like Dane Smith, even like Josh Byrne, like the list goes on. Will Malcolm is honestly
that too.
he might end up being the MVP this year. I don't think I've mentioned that yet, but I like there's so many talented players in this league. It could be really there's a few big names on there.
Yeah, yeah, the talent is just getting crazy. The things these guys are doing is just unreal. But yeah, like Dane Smith, Josh Byrne, like those guys are just crazy. Like watching Dane Smith play is just amazing. Like he does everything right.
And even honestly, like a little sleeper, like a Wesley Berg can bring San Diego, which
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but if he can drag them into the playoffs, then he would. Like I think that he could be considered as well.
exactly. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And yeah, I'd love to see San Diego get in the playoffs, but interested to see how that goes. I think they need a guy like Connor Robinson needs to step up a lot too. And
Yeah.
if they can get some more guys going and stay healthy, they could make a run. But yeah,
They need some back end help, and they also but you know what? I like Smalls in addition. I like some players there. They had a good crowd. I heard they had a really good crowd this past weekend. So
yeah, they
that's
did.
nice to hear.
Exactly. Attendance has been down for some teams this year. It's nice seeing good numbers come out too.
So do you find who do you think is going to finish with the most points duo wise? Do you think Teat and Hellier are going to do it, or do you think Burns and Smith are going to retain that title?
I say Byrne and Smith. I'll say Teat leads the league in points. Pretty sure he is right now by like almost 10 points. But yeah, I'll say Byrne and Smith, and as a duo there. Those guys are just unreal. And the chemistry they have too, right? Like they've been together, I don't know how long now. Whereas Teat and Hellier, I mean, unreal players, but this is their first year together. So yeah, Smith and Byrne, I think just the chemistry they have, they know where they're going to be on the floor and just unreal.
I think they're so good too, don't get me wrong, but I do think Hellier and T, like they're just so good, and it seems like they've kind of found their scoring, and especially against really good teams too. So if they can continue to do that, and I think I always say if there's one prediction I can get to come true this year, I hope Ottawa can make the playoffs. That's
Yeah,
my biggest.
I agree. I think that'd be great for the game. And I agree, like, it's nice for Teat too. He hasn't really had another kind of superstar to play with. So now he finally does. You'll see the floor opens up so much more for him. And then, or then guys are going after him. So then Hellier has more room. So I think that's great for both of them. And I would love to see Ottawa in the playoffs. I just want to see Jeff Teat in the playoffs. I think that'd be great to see. And I know he'll just start taking over games.
Now, what do you think about extending the playing season? Like, I know I just kind of want to hear a player's point of view on it. Like, I know we're talking in the CBA that just came out, they're talking maybe 30 games, kind of closer to the end of the end of the
Yep.
contract, or even going forward, trying to aim for that. That's 30 regular season games. So, do you think that's too many? Do you think that's kind of where we should be headed?
I think it's where we should be headed. I think a lot of good things about it. Another thing, as we were talking earlier, like rivalries, like if we can get back to maybe Toronto Buffalo playing each other like 3, 4 times a year minimum, like that's great for the game. Fans are going to go to those games and it just builds rivalries. So I think that'd be huge. But yeah, I think all in all, like having more games, you're getting more people in seats, more games to market off, more games that are going to be on TV. So I think that would be great. But obviously, if you go that route, you're going to have to find a way to have players making more money and it be a full-time thing because it's not going to be worth it if guys are making what they're making now and can't show up to their regular job, then it's going to be tough for them. So if we can find a way to get players being paid like it's a full-time thing, then I think that would be great.
And like, what it coming from a player, like, what do you think that number is kind of like, what is it 100? Is it 150? Is it $200,000 these players have to make or plus that in order to be considered actual full time, like where they're comfortable?
I mean, it's going to depend on the player. Like, there's some guys
I'm talking
maybe
average. I'm talking average players. Sorry, like I'm talking the
okay.
average player,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Average player, like I'd say like 75,000, 80,000. I'd say most guys would be totally fine with that. But then obviously there's some like guys who are making maybe 100K at their job and they don't really want to spend more time in lacrosse when they're going to make more money doing that. But yeah, I'd say average player. If you can get like a base or like average salary to 70, 80,000, like guys would be happy with that for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that for sure. And, I that's what I'm kind of I we need to move forward like towards
Yeah,
that goal because the only way to grow this sport and make it an actual major league is by having these players play full time in the NLL. Not
exactly.
saying that not saying they couldn't play in other leagues, but the NLL will have to be their kind of their number one like priority, right?
Yeah, I fully agree. Because you think of training wise too, like these guys have to train to be professional athletes. And when you're doing that while also working a full job and then also flying across the country every weekend to go play a lacrosse game, like it's tough to manage all that. So I think too, if we can get this thing where guys are making full-time money, players will just get better too. Because you see it like guys in Buffalo, for example, like Smith and Byrne, they're making decent money. They're able to live in market so they can train full time for this. You see how good these guys turn into. Whereas there might be some guys who have potential like that, but they're stuck working during the week and then you're flying across the country doing all that. Like it's tough to train and be fully ready for games. So I think we'll just see the talent level go up a lot too if we can get to a full-time thing.
Yeah, I would love to see more guys live in market so they could train together more because I think that would make a big
Totally.
difference and it would excel that skill level. Because I mean, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, these guys are absolutely skilled, but
Yeah.
when you have chemistry with players, it's just so much, they do so much better, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Being able to practice together, watch film, kind of do everything all there together, just make huge differences. And I think, yeah, the game will just get so much better when we get to that point.
So what do you prefer, box or field? Like you're Canadian, so I'm assuming your
Yeah.
answer is going to be pretty straightforward, but
Yeah, my friends would call me a little bit of a field lacrosse hater. I'm not the
okay.
biggest fan of field. I'm definitely a box guy. It's just the physicality for me. I mean, there is some massive hits in field, and you're allowed to like do a lot of stuff, but it's just, yeah, box is just, there's nothing better to me. It's the best thing in the world. Just everything about it, the plays, the hits, the fights, just everything. So I'd for sure say box.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. I think box is honestly the best sport in the league. And like I said, that's always, that's coming from a 30-year hockey fan. So that's it's big. So what's your
Exactly.
opinion? What's your opinion on sixes? Like, I just want to hear your kind of opinion on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like where they're going with it, like, and I get why they have like, obviously, I'd sit here and prefer they do box lacrosse in the Olympics, but I get it. It's hard with all the gear you need and the rules and just putting in Olympics, then you need an arena to play and everything. So I think the sixes make sense as much as I'd rather see box. And I like the way they're going with it. I think some needs to be changed. Some things need to be changed, like the cards, for example. I don't like that. This is like soccer. We're handing out red and yellow cards. Not a fan of that. But I like the direction they're going with it. The one thing I don't like, which maybe this is controversial, but how fast it is. Like you might see a sweet play happen and then you don't even have time to watch the replay because then the ball's all the way down the floor in the other team's net. So it would be nice if it slowed down a little bit. Like, not that box lacrosse isn't fast, but if there's a goal, for example, the play stops where there's a crazy goal in the sixes, the ball's in play right away down the field, so we're not even getting to see it. So I think stuff like that, if they can find a way to slow that down and get rid of cards, but I like the direction they're going with it, and I get why they're doing it that way. And it gets more countries into it too. Like some of these countries that have never played lacrosse or heard of it, it's more accessible now doing the sixes because you don't need to be in an arena. You can just be on a field and have nets set up with your sticks and way less gear too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like one of the points that I heard that's really nice is that all the sticks are the same. Like in field, you technically have like long middle sticks. Like
Yeah,
it's hard to get all the equipment going. It's a
yeah,
standard set of equipment. I would like to see guys and girls use the same standard set of equipment, but
agreed.
we'll get there. I'm not a massive fan of the girls like not wearing helmets and stuff. Like I just don't like that.
Yeah,
Let's get everybody on like an even playing field. A lot of people they do say women's class is like its own separate entity, but I would like to see it all kind of merge. Like you said, I think a face-off after every goal is perfect, but even bringing it behind the net, I've heard as an option,
yeah.
and even that, just enough to slow it up. Commercialization of the sport is shit. Like somebody that knows the players watching it this summer, I still had a hard time seeing who was who. So we need to get like
Yeah.
more commercialization. Get rid of the pennies, get jerseys. So that's a couple things that I notice with it.
I agree with that, and on the women's thing too, like, I agree. Like, I don't understand why they're not playing the same game, like, it should be the exact same game as the men's. Like, the different sticks and, like, the no helmets, like, it just makes no sense to me why it's not the same. So I fully agree with you on that.
And there's even a little bit of different rules. Like I don't think they're allowed to block shots. And the other
Right.
thing is there's technically no hitting in sixes, which I am so against. Like we need to
Yeah.
bring hitting in. Now during the summer they let it go. Like there was a lot of bumping and shoving and yeah, they would call cards, but it was very loose. But I think as we get closer to the Olympics, it's gonna get tightened up. And I really hope they can just make that change to even just having contact. Just doesn't have to be
Yes.
massive, but just contact, get rid of the cards and just,
I
call
fully
penalties.
agree because the more intense the games get too, like they're gonna get more physical just naturally. And if you get games get more physical and then all of a sudden they're handing out penalties for every little thing, it's just gonna kind of ruin the pace of the game. So I fully agree with that. Like lacrosse is a physical sport and that's got to be a part of it.
So if you could kind of pick a couple tough players in the league, like who do you think is the toughest guy or two or three of the toughest guys in the league right now?
I mean, I'd say Amsbury. You could technically say him, but other than him, because we don't know how much he's gonna play. But Elijah Gash, Jackson Subak are kind of the couple. You got Tyler Biles, and then there's guys on Buffalo like Paul Dawson and Steve Priolo were just so tough, and they're older now, so you're not gonna see them fighting anymore. But those guys are legends. But yeah, right now I'd say a couple guys are Subak, Gash, Tyler Biles.
I mean, I know I'm a big fan of Gash. I know he's kind of hated by if he's not on your team, but
Yeah,
he's a monster. Again, not somebody I'd want to get in the ring with for sure.
and you know you're doing your job right too, and people hate you that aren't on your
Yeah,
team. So yeah,
exactly. I
no, I
can't. Well,
fully agree.
it was for Chase Frazier actually. I just heard this on Lacrosse Classified. He said, "I don't care what the rest of the league, as long as my teammates like me, that's all I care about." So
Exactly. Yeah,
you
that's
know,
the biggest thing. So,
and I love it.
and yeah, the guys who are hated, that usually means you're doing something right. Who would you say
Absolutely
is the
so.
toughest in the league?
I mean, I kind of lean on Gash, honestly. Like I really do. From what I've seen so far, he's tough. But I mean, I think there's some guys in there that like you wouldn't expect to scrap and like that can scrap. Like
Agreed.
there's a lot of native boys in this game that all know how to scrap. Like you don't want
Oh
to
yeah,
fight any of those native boys.
fully agree. Do not. And yeah, there's a lot of guys too that like aren't really labeled as a fighter, but you'll see him fight and you'll be like, wow, he's tough. Like Jeff Hendricks won. Like he is a tough guy. He's fought a few times, but he's just not someone you'd expect to fight. And I saw he fought Dawson Theed in the Man Cup and held his own very well. And he had a couple fights in the WLA this year and held his own. And he's just not a guy that you would label as a tough guy. So there's a few guys like that. Mitch Jones is another one who I mentioned earlier. Like he's not really
Yeah,
labeled as a fighter, but I've seen him fight and I've seen him beat a couple of guys up. So,
he's too valuable scoring, man. You don't want him in the box as much
but
as you
yeah,
can, right?
that's the thing. But if he
Get
gets
somebody
pissed
else in
off,
there.
he'll still be
Yeah.
in there.
Well, it's just like yeah, absolutely. I love that though. I love that. That's my type of player.
Exactly.
Just one last question, man. I always ask like kind of a random question. So if there's one quote you could kind of throw up on any dressing room wall, what would it be?
One that's kind of stuck for me, got this from my buddy Tyrell Hammer Jackson, is nobody cares, work harder. And he'd say that to me all the time, and it's 100% true. A lot of people want to make excuses or say this and that, and they're not in the right situation. It's like nobody cares, just work hard. And if you work hard, yeah, I fully believe you'll get where you want to go.
No, that's awesome, man. And, he's definitely a character, and he knows how to get things going. He knows how to get under people's skin. He's one of
Yeah.
my favorite guys to watch. I found him on TikTok. That's how I know about him. But
Okay,
he's
yeah.
he's he's one of the only guys, I would say, he's one of the only guys in the players currently in the league that understands social media and the power of it.
Totally, yeah. And if you ever get him on here too, he is one of the funniest guys you'll ever meet. You'll have quite a few laughs with him. So
I definitely I love to have him on. So if you pass it along, feel free anytime he wants to
totally.
reach out. I'll definitely get him on here. So, well, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciated that. Is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, no, I just want to say good job on what you're doing too. I've been listening to your stuff and followed you, and I know you're kind of new into it, and it's cool seeing new media people into the thing. And you've done some great stuff, like getting the Discord going. I'm in there and stuff like that. I think it's great. It gets more people talking about the game and stuff. So keep doing what you're doing. I think it's awesome, and I think the more people we get in media too in lacrosse is huge for the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. I love doing this, and the reason I'm doing this is because no one else was. So this here
Exactly.
you guys get stuck with me. So all
Yeah.
right,
Well,
man.
that's how I got into it. No one was doing the fights, so
Yeah,
I started throwing them
yeah.
up.
All right, man. So I really appreciate you coming on, and I'm sure we'll talk soon. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So there you have it, guys. There was Derek Miller, Lax Tillymen. Absolutely, like I said, a great interview, easy to talk to. I've been pretty lucky, to be honest with you. I do have to say that I've been pretty lucky with guys. They come on, they're really charismatic. I don't know if it's the way I'm choosing the guys or just everybody in this lacrosse is pretty charismatic. I have a really easy time talking to these guys. Obviously, we're talking with something we love. I have a very laid back feeling. I'm not sitting here in a suit. I can't do it. If I get a media job that's like, okay, requirement suit, I'll button up, no problem. Like I have no issues with that. Going to games in a suit, that's not my like personally, that's not my thing. I prefer to wear a jersey, rock a team, let's go. But if I ever get into media where I get the media pass and I have to wear a suit and fucking the whole 9 yards, no problem. I will do that. I have no issues with that. With that being said, right now I love that I get to do podcasts in a hoodie, like in my comfy hoodies a lot of the times. In my hat, it's just chilling. And I think that same guys, I want the same thing on the other side. I don't think anybody, I've never met a sports fan that gets on here or at least me, I go watch podcasts. I've never been like, damn, what the heck is Biz wearing today? Unless it's something outrageous or what the heck is Pat McAfee wearing? Or unless it's again outrageous. Don Cherry's a little bit of a league of his own. He was always wearing something, a peacocking, all that kind of stuff, right? So teach their own and never however they want to dress. But to me, that's never why I watch somebody's content is for how they dress. So I don't know. I'm just a guy that loves sports. So it's more about what comes out of your mouth. So that's why I like that laid back environment. Even with my interviews, I try to keep them really laid back. I'm not a stuffy person. I'm not most of these lacrosse guys aren't. Most of the guys I meet are these blue collar guys at heart. So anyway, so there's the interview. Lots of good information in there. Give him a follow, like I said. Go to all the socials, support him. He puts out fight videos. Like if you're a lacrosse fan or if you're like 99% of lacrosse fans who doesn't like a good fight video, he is the guy for that. And I love it. That's sick, man. I love that stuff. Um, We've got so let's go right into the games of the week, okay? What? I didn't realize this, guys. I just realized this. There's 5 games on Friday night. There's 5 games on Friday night. Wow, that's huge. Okay, so game 1 of the week, there's 5 games Friday. This is insane. I thought there was only 2. 5 games Friday. That's amazing. So we got Halifax versus Ottawa to kick off the weekend. We got Halifax at 2-2, Ottawa at 3-2. This is going to be a banger of a game. We've got a high-scoring Ottawa team, and then we've got a high-scoring Halifax team, or a high-powered offense Halifax team, I should say. Yeah, actually, I should say more high-powered offense than actually high-scoring because really their games haven't been overly high-scoring. So we've got Ottawa obviously played an extra game. Ottawa has put up 65 goals to Halifax's 36. Halifax only let in 31 goals uh, where Ottawa's let in 60. So the goal differential is actually both the same at 5 goals. And obviously Halifax needs to score more. Ottawa needs to score less. I still think Ottawa has an amazing team, all this stuff. I don't think Ottawa's winning this game, guys. And hear me out. I'm big on First off, I said I was going to listen to my gut this week. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be listening to their gut no matter what our head says. I don't care what our head says. We have to go gut check this weekend because it's must needed. Halifax just got beat up for two weeks in a row. One in their own barn, one away. The first game was really close. They lost out of discipline. The second game, they lost out of discipline. It was a lot bigger of a margin. I think it was a 4-goal margin. They are not losing another game here. I can almost guarantee you that Halifax is going to beat Ottawa Friday night because they're going to come out hungry. I don't know if you've ever seen these guys mad, but they are one of the best teams in the league. If not, in my opinion, they're up there. They're right up there. Like on any given night, they can be the best team in the league. Depends on how they show up. Halifax is an animal. You better believe you're going to see Cody Jamieson going in there. You're going to see CP24 going in there. You're going to see Dawson Theed's been great this year so far. I would love to see Christian Watts. I can't remember who said that. I'm telling you right now, I just seen that on thingy today. I don't remember who said that, so I don't want to take full credit for this. But Christian Watts, I would love to see get in the game. I know. What are you going to do? Where are you going to put him? I don't care. Figure it out. Bring Bomberry back, maybe. That's what I've seen the suggestion. We'll see what happens. I want to see Christian Watts. He had what, 3 goals in the one game? I think it was a hat trick, at least 2, but I think it was a 3-goal game in the preseason. He's on the practice roster. I really like to see him get some reps. I know, I've been pretty high on this kid for a while. Really like him, and it is what it is. But anyway, Halifax, I still think no matter what, they're going to take this game. I think that they're just too strong. I think that Warren Hill, as long as Warren Hill plays pretty good and just like he has been, they're going to win this game. I think that the edge in goaltending goes to Warren Hill the way it's been with Ottawa's goalie. Obviously, Higgins, I'm a big Higgins fan. Unfortunately for Higgins, they're running into this offense, and Higgins, it's not that he's been bad. He's at around 77%, if I'm not mistaken. He just hasn't been that eliteness like every other goalie has been. So Higgins needs to find a way. Ross still needs to put up a lot of goals in order to beat this team. Can they do it against this defense? I don't think so. I do not think so. If I had to guess, Ottawa's going to put up around 10, and Halifax, that's going to push them because Halifax is only averaging 9 goals a game. Halifax needs to get their offense going this weekend. I predict about 13 goals at Halifax. So 13 to 10 is going to be kind of my final prediction for this game. We'll see what happens. I do not see this being a low-scoring game, though. I can't see it. I don't see Ottawa being able to put on the show that they have been against other teams. If Halifax wasn't maybe coming off a 2-game loss, I would say that they're going to, I think Ottawa, that would give them a little bit more of an advantage. Ottawa's at home. I just can't see it. I can't see them beating Halifax this week. Halifax is going to be too hungry, and it's just they're too much. They're a great team. They're just too built. Next game 2. I can't believe we have 5 games on Friday. We got Rochester versus Philadelphia. Huge game. Philadelphia is really a scrappy little team. Is Rochester going to absolutely dominate them? Absolutely. They just lost last week. You don't think they're going to come out hard? Because this is the thing. If Philly can hold them, they might have a chance. Fortunately, I think that you're going to see Rochester put up 7 in the first. But like Rochester's putting up 15 this game, 15 to 18. I'm not kidding you. It's going to be this might be a 20-goal game. I'm not kidding you. But 15 plus for sure, I would say on Rochester. And then they're right now they're 2-1. Where Philly's 1-2. Philly's gonna have a rough season. I love Philly. Brandon O'Neill's amazing. Joey Rez, amazing. Dick DeMood has been very solid. Like, I'm not going to lie, he's a solid player. I like that goaltender, and that's why I think that's a guy that you could, like a Vegas could go try to get at the deadline maybe, or somebody else that needs a goaltender possibly. Just throwing it out there, could go try to steal Nick DeMood. Who knows? I'm just spitballing here, guys. But I think Nick DeMood to Vegas for a playoff push. That sounds pretty good to me. That's just made up trade. Nothing confirmed on that one, but I don't want to see Con go in there. I don't want to see Con go in there. Okay, so we got. Like I said, Rochester's got 43 goals for, 36 goals against with a goal differential +7, where Philadelphia's got 31 goals against, or 31 goals for, 38 goals against with a -7 goal differential. 14 goals for on average for Rochester, and 12 goals against. Hartley's gonna have a better game this week, though. I truly believe that. And then you've got 10 goals for Philly and 12 goals against. Philly's not. They're just not doing it this year. I'm telling you, I love Philly. I said this. I hope they prove me wrong. They play hard. They're gonna give Rochester a run for their money. 15-9, 18 to 11, 18 to 12, somewhere in that range. I can't see. Philly's going to have to put up offense. Philly's going to have to come out hard. Philly's going to have to score first in order to win this game. But Rochester is just going to be too big of a juggernaut. Like I said, Rochester can't put up against the top tier teams. But when you play kind of that sub, top like 5-6 teams, anybody below that, they're going to light these guys up. They are. You better be able to go into a shootout with them, which is why Ottawa had so much success against them, right? Because that's exactly what they kind of did. Anyway. Vancouver Warriors versus Calgary. Calgary got their first win last week. I hope it felt good because you're not doing it again. Okay. This is coming from one of the only guys that said Calgary was going to win last week too. Just to let you know, I don't care. There is no way that Calgary's beating Vancouver. There's just not. Love you, Aiden Walsh. Love you, Manning. Love you, Tyler Pace. I actually like that Calgary team. The more I watch that Calgary team, the more I really like, damn, man, this team looks like a good franchise. All 14,000 fans in the building most of the nights. Like, they have a really good little fan base out there. I like them a lot. I do like them. But Vancouver's 2-1. They've had time off. Unless they come in sluggish, which they're not going to. Unless they come in sluggish, Calgary or Vancouver's going to rip their fucking face off this weekend. So Calgary's 1-3, obviously. 30 goals for Vancouver, 25 goals against, +5 goal differential. Calgary's got 45. Now they've played one more game than Vancouver. They've got 51 goals against for a -5 goal differential. You got, on average, 10 goals for Vancouver. That number is going up. They did not have a great start to the season. 8 goals against average for Vancouver. To be honest with you, the way the league's going this year, I could see that staying there. And that's the thing. Delbs wants to also prove that he's the best goalie in the league. And he's only had 3 chances. The first one wasn't great. Last 2 were really solid. And he's going to show that he is the best goalie in the league. And that was pretty consensus before the season started. And I can't see why that wouldn't be again after that, to be honest with you. they are going to be a scary, scary, scary team this season. Calgary, there's no way they're beating them. I'm sorry. Calgary's got 11 goals for on average, 12 goals against. There's no fucking way. There's no way. And if they do want to beat them, they better come out hard and play that whole game, that whole 60 minutes, right? You got to play every game, or you got to play every quarter like it's your last. Calgary's had a very, very rough schedule. They played Buffalo. They played Saskatchewan. They played San Diego, which isn't, they're not great, but still, San Diego, they played San Diego. They got some good guys over there. And then they played them well. And now they've got to play, now they've got to fucking play. Now they got to play Vancouver. Like, these guys need a little bit of a break. So we'll see as time goes on. But you know what, though? It's good training for them, and they're going to be ready for these teams that aren't these top tier teams. Calgary's not making the playoffs this year. Like, I know, again, they want to be this playoff team, and they're trying. But at the end of the day, they're not. Like, and I love these boys. They're the youngest team in the league. I think that they have a lot of potential going forward. They just need some development. Go prove me wrong. I don't care. I always say that. Like, honestly, I'm just a fan, so I love watching underdogs. So even though I'm going to be like, oh yeah, they're going to lose, I would love to see them go stomp out Vancouver. I think it would create chaos. What do I love? Everybody knows that's been following me for a while. I love chaos. Foxes roll chaos. Calgary beating Vancouver would be chaos. Let's go. But unfortunately, I'm going to take Vancouver. And like I said, Vancouver Calgary to me is like, Vancouver's going to have way more goals this week. I'm going to say 13 to 15 range, honestly, for Calgary or for Vancouver. Calgary, they're going to be lucky to break 10. Like, you're like, honestly, realistically, I'm going to say it's about an 8 or a 9 score. 7. I'm feeling 7, to be honest with you. 7, 8, 9. I'm going to say 7. I'm going to say 7. So I'll say we'll go 14 to 7 to meet in the middle. But 13 to 15 goals for, and about 7 goals against for Vancouver. It's going to be a slaughter. It's going to be a slaughter in Calgary there. And you know what? Hey, there's no shame in losing Vancouver. I'll tell you that. So we have another game on Friday night. So this is game 4. Wow, man. This is going to be a shit show to watch. We got Saskatchewan with a 4-1. They are the best team in the league. The fact that they're not on everybody's top of their power rankings, blazed. I give Buffalo the pass. But they're the only one that gets a pass in this league. Being the 3P champion, you can sit them at the fucking bar all year. To be honest, at the pole position, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. As long as they make the playoffs, it's all that matters. And they are an animal. They should never drop below 3. Let's be real, right? At the end of the day, I think I've ranked them at 4 before. But realistically, if you're talking like, what can you expect out of Buffalo every week? You can expect a high quality game. Dane Smith is going to put up points. Josh Burns is going to put up points. Al Buchanan's going to put up points. Like, they've got some guys. They've got that young kid too that I'm forgetting right now, but they got this nice young rookie that's in there. I think he's a rookie at least. Matt Vince is doing enough to win the games. Like, they've got a team that's just fantastic. Are their defense top tier? It's right on the cusp, I'm going to say, to be honest with you. It's passable. I think it technically is in the top tier right now, but I think it's like more leaning towards that passable, but we'll see. So anyway, this week's going to help the goals against average though, because I'm telling you right now, Calgary, as much as they've got, they could score, not on Vancouver. Not on Vancouver. They got too much. They're just too good. That's straight up what it is. 4-1, and you've got Las Vegas Desert Dogs 2-2. So in Las Vegas this weekend, I don't know if I even said that. Las Vegas versus Saskatchewan's the next game of the week, and we've got Saskatchewan has 52 goals for, 44 goals against. I'm pretty sure 52 goals for might be the most in the league. Las Vegas has 49 goals for, 50 goals against. Saskatchewan's a +8, and Las Vegas is a -1. 10 goals per game for Saskatchewan, 12 goals per game for Vegas, 8 goals against for Saskatchewan, and 12 goals against for Vegas. This is my upset. This is going to be one of my upsets. I would assume that most people are going to call upsets. Do I think that Saskatchewan is the best team in the league? Absolutely. Do I think that Vegas needs to win more than them? I absolutely do. Because go look at Vegas' schedule. Like, it's fucking insane. Okay. So they need to pump out a win here. Okay. They've already had an insane schedule. Sorry. They need to pump out a win. They need to steal a win off somebody. This is it. This is the one. I think Saskatchewan's due for a loss. They're 4-1. 4-2 is still a very strong record. They're not going to win every game. Vegas is at home. Chase Frazier is looking fucking phenomenal. They just need that goaltending to get done. So Kells, I think, is going to have one of those seasons where he's going to have an off game, a back, and then an off game, and then a really good game, then an off game, and a really good game. This is the thing. Roller coaster ride for Kells this season, okay? But I think he's going to come in. I think he's going to play a lot better than he did. If he can play a lot better, Vegas can score. Vegas needs to go get the lead. They can't leave it till the 4th. This is their fucking problem. They crank it up the end. Vegas, I need you to go out there and get some goals. And if you're down at half, I'm putting that you're scoring a bunch of goals on a ticket, because in the second half, because that's exactly what keeps happening here. Vegas has a scoring potential. They have a lot of top scorers. Mitch Jones has been amazing. There's so many good guys over there that are ready to go. And Chase Frazier is just like foaming at the mouth after that loss in Buffalo. They would have played a full game like they did the 4th. They would have won. There's my 2 cents. I think they have the potential to do it. Like I said, Vegas is this little dark horse for me that, you never know what's going to happen. So next we got Toronto versus San Diego. What a little sleeper game this is, guys. Toronto's 1-2, San Diego's 1-2. Have 29 goals for Toronto, 35 goals against for Toronto with a -6 goal differential. And for San Diego, you have a 34 goal for. 43 goals against, and then -9 goal differential. I'll have to check the injury report. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if it's come out yet or not, but I can tell you right now that San Diego, their back end was horrible last game. They've got the best faceoff guy in the league with Baptiste there, and man, that guy just schooled Calgary this last week, Ignacio, and he's been good in the draw up till that, and he just got absolutely destroyed. So to me, Baptiste is hands down the best faceoff guy in the league. But I heard Frick talk about this on this mesh, and he said it doesn't matter if you don't fucking do anything with it. And I have to agree with that. And this is the thing. If you're just going to turn the ball over in a couple passes, then who cares? You know what I mean? Like but I mean, I do see, this is the thing that blows my mind. And this last week was a little bit better for this. But when you look at the numbers, the faceoffs don't really mean that much on the stat sheet. I understand the game, the flow of the game, everything you're talking about. Yes. But when you look at the cold hard facts, the numbers, it's like a lot of times when teams lose the faceoffs, they still win. And, I know this has to go into a lot of like, oh, well, they've got a lot of cost turnover and lose balls. I understand this. This is a whole body of work. But it blows my mind when I see this stat like this, especially when a team like San Diego absolutely dominated last week in the faceoffs, and then they end up losing the game. It's kind of a little bit of like, what is happening here? This doesn't add up. The math is not mathing, right? So anyway, so this game, I'm going to take Toronto, even though it's in San Diego. Toronto is going to win this game. To me, I've told you before, I'm not high on San Diego. I was at the beginning. I'm kind of come back to where I was at the beginning of the preseason. They had an amazing preseason. They had an amazing week one. They looked strong coming out. They've seemed to have taken a step back, which is exactly where I am. Aurelieri went down last week. I don't know if he's going to be back. So that's a big one. He didn't have a great game last week anyway. So I'm sure he's looking for a bounce back if he can come back. They've got, I know Leclerc was on the IR, on the injury list, but then I seen him in the game last week. So obviously that didn't affect it. And, we're going to see what happens, but I'm ready for it. I'll tell you that. I can tell you that. So I think for this one, Toronto needs this win. Both these teams need to win, let's be real. But I think Toronto still is that bubble team. I think San Diego, like I said, I was really low on San Diego. Definitely came back up. Thought they might have been a playoff team. The way they were playing, their back end's not good enough. I listened to the hype. I listened to one game, blah, blah, blah. But I do think Toronto's that bubble team. They might still squeak in there. They have a lot of young talent. They're relying on their young talent. Hiltz, he hasn't been the same as he was game one or game in the preseason. Like, he hasn't been as dominant. CJ Kirst, still amazing, right? They've had the time off now. They're coming out. They've lost a couple that they should have probably won. Toronto could be sitting in a lot better position. I said this last season, and I'm probably going to say the same thing again. I just think Toronto wins this one. What's the score going to be? I think Toronto's got to put up a bunch of goals. I'm going to say 12 goals for Toronto to. I think San Diego will be better defensively this week. I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to call it 13 for Toronto to. No, we'll say 12. 12 goals for Toronto, and we're going to say San Diego will put up 10. So it'll be like a 12-10 game, 13-10 game, somewhere in that range. It's still going to be a close game, but I do think that Toronto's going to squeak it out. There's going to be a lot of talks after this game in San Diego. San Diego, I like San Diego. I kind of always do I hate the color of their jerseys? Do I love them? But I do really like them. Like, I do. And they, so they should hire me so I could come out and live in San Diego, because I would definitely love that shit. I will say that. So, or at least fly out there so I can see it. That'd be sick. Get me out to a game, San Diego. I love you guys. But you're not winning this week. So anyway, this is probably arguably one of the games of the week. So that's the last Friday night game. That one starts at 10:30. So now here we are on Saturday with 3 games on Saturday. I thought this was only 2 on Fridays, but it's okay. So we got Buffalo versus Rochester in Rochester. Rochester, I think, is going to win the first game of the week, and Buffalo's going to win this. Like I said the whole time, I can't go back on this now. Rochester, to me, cannot perform against top level defenses. Buffalo, are they a top level defense? We're going to find out. Rochester is a tester for them. Okay? If they can't stop Rochester, that's not going to look good. Rochester, and then everyone's going to have Rochester on the top of the fucking league again. I'm going to have to listen to that for another week. But Rochester they're good. Don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm not hating. Their back end's not good enough to play against Buffalo. Dane Smith, Josh Byrne, Kyle Buchanan, all those boys are going to pick them apart. Like, this game, Buffalo doesn't have to play till then. Rochester's going to be banged up from playing the night before as well. We have to keep that in consideration. They're at home this game though, at least. This one's going to be, I'm going to say 15 for Buffalo, 15 goals for Buffalo, and Rochester will probably put up about 11. I'm going to say 15 to 11 for Rochester, or for Buffalo, sorry, over Rochester on this game. And like I said, boys, this is one that could go either way, to be honest with you. I do kind of believe that. I'm going with my gut. Buffalo is honestly my gut, don't get me wrong. But Rochester, again, sometimes I feel like I get swept up in the hype. And I just think that playing back-to-back nights and to have it to play, if it was the first game, I think they would have a better chance, because it's that Saturday game after they've already had to play Friday night, even though it is against Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a gritty team. They're going to beat them up. So we'll see what happens. I do think Rochester's taking that one. Or I keep saying that. Maybe that's it. No, Buffalo's taking that game, okay? Next, we have Halifax's second game of the week versus Oshawa. 2 for 2 for Halifax. They're probably going to be 3 for 2 after this. 36 goals for, 31 goals against, 5 goals goal differential, 9 goals per game, and 7 goals a game against. And then Oshawa they're 1-4. They're at home. They're 35 goals for. They're 51 goals against with a minus 16, 7 goals per game. That's going to go up. And 10 is actually not that bad considering how many losses they have. This is going to surprise everybody. You know how much I love Halifax. You know how much I said Halifax is the cream of the crop, top level team. Halifax is going to lose to Oshawa this week. Oshawa's it's in Oshawa. Oshawa's 1-4. They need a win this week. There's nothing to talk about. They can't keep fucking around here. They have to win this game. This is a must-win game for Oshawa if they want to make the playoffs. If they don't want to make the playoffs, they just fucking lose. Just go home, boys. But I think that if you don't see Oshawa win this week, or at least have like a better production, like they need to have the production that they did last week, but also have the goaltending defense with a couple weeks before. So like we need the best of both worlds here, Oshawa. I just think this is going to be their breakout game. Sorry, Halifax fans. It's going to put them 3-3. You know, they're going to, hey, Halifax got an uphill battle this year. This week. This is a sleeper week. Hopefully Halifax can go in there and win 2. I would love to see it. Prove me wrong, Halifax. You know, I told you after last week, I got to go with my gut, and everything in my gut is telling me Oshawa is going to win this game. Again, this is one of those things. This is like my Calgary pick last week. I really do believe it. I think this is going to be the one that's like everyone's thinking Halifax is going to dominate them, walk in there, smash them. They should on paper, everything on paper, they should smash them. I think that, again, it's just going to be Alex Simmons knows how to get in your head, and this is what Halifax isn't great at controlling their temper. And I think that for that reason, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be an Oshawa game. What's the score going to be? I think Oshawa puts up on Halifax. I do think. I'm going to say it's going to be like, it'll probably be a tight game. It'll probably be a stupid way they lose too, just to make it controversial. I'm going to say 11-9 11-9 Oshawa over Halifax. That's my prediction for that game. And then we've got Colorado versus Georgia. So Colorado's 2-2. They've found their offense. So okay, so Jack Hanna's ready to go. Will Malcolm's ready to go, and hopefully Andrew Q comes back. Andrew Q comes back. It's cooked. This to me is a top level team with Andrew Q in there. The way their goaltending is, the way their back end is, like they're built to win. Honestly, Colorado to me has to be the considerate. If they can show us what they can do over the next 2 or 3 weeks with their offense, they can be consistent. They're a contender. There's nothing to talk about. I don't care what anybody says. So you got 38 goals for Colorado, 40 goals against, -2 goal differential. Georgia, best defense in the league right now. I think this is like a battle of defenses. I know Colorado's not technically in that elite tier, in that top. I think they're in the top tier. Or no, I think they're impassable actually, if I do remember correctly. But they're in like Colorado. I think they're going to come back. They just had an off game. I think they are a top tier defenseman or a defensive team, if not even in that elite possibly. I do think that Georgia their defense has been absolutely phenomenal. They're the best defense in the league right now. Can they continue to go do it? Can Lyle play a bit better? I know everyone's saying he must be injured. He hasn't had this like rough of a start since his rookie season. Never really seen the style Lyle. Lyle's probably giving you his 100%. Unfortunately for right now, I don't think his 100% is his actual 100%. So for what I'm hearing anyway. So we'll see what happens with that. That would make a lot of sense to me because, like I said, I think Lyle's the best player in the world when healthy. So I hope that if he is injured, go take some time off. I understand that's not Lyle's style. I'm pretty sure he really hasn't missed that much time. If I'm not wrong, someone correct me if I am wrong on that one. But I do think that this is going to be a banger. I don't think that the offense is going to get much better though. Unfortunately, with Georgia, it's really hard to stop. It's really hard to score on Colorado as is most games anyway. And I think that with Georgia, their defense, I just think that with Jack Hanna and Will Malcolm now together, those two are going to be a dynamic duo in the face. They're going to be Colorado's dynamic duo for years and years to come. I think at this point, because Jack Hanna's not going anywhere. He's made that pretty much clear, and I'm pretty sure Will Malcolm really likes Colorado. I mean, how couldn't you play in front of that crowd? And it's not that far from where he's from. So I mean, I think that it's a best of both worlds there. I'm going to say Colorado's going to win this game. I didn't take them last week. I should have. They're going to win this game. Georgia's taking the loss. I don't think Georgia's a playoff team, but again, it's hard to not put them in there when they've been playing such good defense. So we'll see what happens. Colorado, I do think this is going to be more of a low-scoring game. I just can't see it going that much, especially this. I do think that they're going to put up more on Brett Dobson than he has had on. So I'm going to say this is going to be, I'm feeling a low-scoring game here. I'm feeling like a 9-7 game, honestly. Maybe, no, 9-7, 11-7, somewhere in that range. I think there might be a couple empty netters there at the end or something, but I think I would have to say 9-7, 11-7, somewhere in that range, 11-8, something like that's telling me that's where we're at for this. So yeah, there you have it, guys. So this has been a long episode. Right, lots of great things have been covered. These are funny. These are usually my short episodes, but 8 games is hard to get through. So we touched on a bunch of different stuff here. How the interviews are back. You guys let me know what you like. I know there are a lot of guys who like the interviews. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing this style for a while. I've got a bunch of guys that I kind of want to be on the show. I'm gonna be banking interviews, and it's gonna be great, man. I might have to do an interview, a podcast or something. But it's just gonna be a great time, man. I love this. I love this sport. This is the greatest sport in the world. That's saying a lot coming from a 30-year hockey fan, like I always say. got hockey jerseys on the wall. These are going to be eventually lacrosse jerseys. Someone send me one, right? Someone, you guys want your teams up here. Whoever sends me their jersey first is going to get their jerseys up there. Actually, to be honest with you, I want to get like a neon sign made up, or like one of those bubble signs or whatever. And I think I've got some good ideas, man. It's just eventually I'll have a podcast studio. Just got to start bringing some income in first before I do that. But if we are going to build a podcast studio, I'm going hard on this content thing. I've got like a rejuvenation with it. I love doing the interviews. It's just an amazing. It's so much fun. I have so much fun doing these interviews, talking to the different minds in lacrosse. Thanks again to Derek for being on. Character is the best way I'm going to say this. All these guys have such character, great sense of humor, understands the game, understands what fans want, and that's the most important part. That's where it's going to bring you the money in. Like, social media is powerful. Any players that are coming up here, guys, if you're listening this far, get into social media. That's my number one thing for players. Reach out to me. I'll be happy to have some players on the podcast. Even if you're not a pro, quote unquote pro, if you're a high level junior player, reach out to me. I might have you on the podcast. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be doing junior stuff. I've got some really good guests coming up. Let's get this sport as big as we possibly can get it. That's what I want to do. It's as much as like, I want to obviously do this full time, but at the end of the day, I really just want this sport to grow. It's such an amazing sport. Everybody you talk to that's in love with it is like, I don't understand how this is not bigger. And I completely feel your fucking pain on that one, because that's the same way I say, how are we not bigger? And it's crazy. The only good thing about that, boys, is if you want to get into content, this is the perfect sport to get into content for. A lot of these other sports are super oversaturated. There's somebody like me that's even more knowledgeable, especially that's got playing experience. You come in here, if you have a personality, get on here, start talking about it. And, at the end of the day, there's a lot of room to grow. And every experience I've had with people in here have been amazing. So just reach out, you network with people, you meet more people, get their numbers, and you just kind of, get stuff going. So with all that being said, that's the show. So as always, guys, thank you for being here. Leave a comment, all that kind of stuff. Subscribe. Check out all the thing. I forgot to mention that I made a Facebook page. I should have mentioned that. I'm going to try to throw this in there. I don't like fucking promoting that, to be honest with you. I just kind of throw my content out. And this is where I probably need to adjust a little bit, especially if I want to go full time. But at the end of the day, I'm here to bring content. Here to bring my personal spin on this stuff. And I love this sport. So with all that being said, thanks for coming. Episode 26, another banger. Back to interviews, back to status quo. Content's going to keep pumping. Lives are going to be going. Lots of lacrosse. Get out there, watch the games. If you're in the areas, go support the teams. The tickets are pretty cheap. Get out there, show some support, make this the best sport we can with everyone's help, and let's go. With all that being said, my name is Jake McDonald. I'm Anything Lacrosse, and this is a game that never sits still. We will talk to you guys next time.